I grew up in rock and bowl. So my father started rock and bowl in 1988. It was a answer to a prayer, and it wasn't until he started tinkering with live music that things started. But you know, to get back to the root of the question, I was 12 years old when that happened. I was selling bowling shoes and working as a short order cook and going to school, playing ball, doing all the things that normal kids do. But every single free moment I was there, and you know, bowling mechanic. I learned all about how to do the basic mechanics of the, you know, in the bowling industry. So I learned a lot, and it always kept my mind moving about business. I was always thinking about that, even at a young age. So I guess you could say that it just was something that I absorbed. Yeah. And so we, as a family, we've always stuck together and done business together, and we come up with ideas together and we try to implement them. My kids are now learning. They're always you know, getting their hands dirty. He was in the wholesale crawfish business, and our ties to Lafayette area actually spawned that. You know, my mother's from Vermilion Parish. Some of her cousins and had crawfish ponds and were crawfish processing. My father was distributing for New Orleans. He was along the way, of course, asked to do crawfish boils. Started dabbling in that, and then off season he would get calls to do catering jobs, and he would do that only when people called. But he saw potential in it, but he didn't have his own venue. So when he bought Mid-City Lanes and turned it into Rock and Bowl, what he saw was the ability to do parties. The Iguanas played, and we were packed. I mean, we had hundreds and hundreds of people coming in, and then people were coming into the bowling desk with one game bowl. They'd been out there for 4 hours, and we were like, whoa, this isn't gonna work. You know, we can't have people out there for 4 hours and only collect one game. So he decided, well, I'm just gonna charge them by the hour. I don't care how many games you bowl. So that's what started it. And to our knowledge, and I mean, a few bowling industry magazines have acknowledged that we were basically the first to do it as across the board. We stopped charging by the game altogether. We went to hourly bowling, and now it's pretty much the standard. I mean, across the industry, there's very few centers in major cities that are still charging by the game. Entrepreneurs, all the ones I've studied, all the ones I know, all the ones that are way better than me, they act fast, but they do spend time thinking. And as I've gotten older, I've realized that most of the gut decisions that you have are right. You just got to be careful how much you have on the line when it's just a gut decision, you know. And the other thing that I would advise people to do is read. Read. I can't tell you how important I realize it is. You know, this is a true confession here. In school, I was focused on playing ball, and I was and I made good grades. I was a good student, but I wasn't learning at that time in my life to prepare me for the future. I was learning simply to take that test and get it over with. Okay. And I did very little reading. I mean, I used to brag that I never actually read the whole book ever, you know, all the way through high school. And it was not something that I should be bragging about, but I did for a while. And then I finished college, and I was scared to death. And I've probably read hundreds of books. I have no idea how many. And you know, now you have no excuse, because the audiobook is accessible and inexpensive. You can do it while you drive. I mean, learn, and it keeps you motivated. And let's face it, you're absorbing it. Even if you're not running out and applying everything you learn, you can't possibly do that. Everybody's got a new twist on the entrepreneur and advice from this entrepreneur or that entrepreneur. You can't just go grab all that and start acting on everybody. It doesn't work that way. But you absorb principles, and it helps you to make those gut decisions and make them with a little more wisdom. This one was brought up recently. Little known fun fact is that when I was in kindergarten and I was asked what is my favorite sport, apparently I wrote down breakdancing. So some of the antics that happen late night at Rock and Bowl when I'm on the floor or my father is, and jumping off of stages and on the bars, and I do it sober, by the way. My father not so much.